The Adventures of Don Quixote. Somewhere in La Mancha, a long time ago, there used to live a nobleman called Alfonso Quixano. He was around 50 years old. He was very thin and with a long face. He lived with a housekeeper, a young niece, and a lad who took care of the lands. He was keen on reading cavalry novels, and after reading so much of them and not sleeping well, he became crazy. Alonso wanted to become an itinerant knight. In doing so, he called his skinny horse Rocinante. Then, he thought about an appropriate name for himself, and he decided to become Don Quixote of La Mancha. Finally, he chose a lady for whom he was going to fight, and he liked a farmer called Aldon San Lorenzo, who became Dulcinea del Toboso. One morning, Don Quixote grasped the lance and rode Rocinante willing to start his adventure. On his way, he realized that he had to be named knight so as to be able to take part in battles. Tired of riding, he saw from a far distance an inn, in which he believed was a castle. He spent the night in the inn's garden waiting to be knight. Later, the innkeeper touched twice his shoulders and reminded him of having a good squire, apart from money. Following the innkeeper's advice, Don Quixote decided to go back home in order to find a good squire, an inseparable companion in his adventures. Back home, Don Quixote thought about his squire and believed having found the right man in a poor farmer called Sancho Panza. He, then, saw some traders, and believing they were knights, he stopped them. "You can't continue without promising there is no other beautiful damsel on earth than my Dulcinea del Toboso." One of them insulted his beloved, and the knight went towards him with his lance. Unfortunately, Rocinante fell down, and after him Don Quixote rode downhill. "Don't run away, cowards!" cried the knight lying on the floor. One of the lads got closer to Don Quixote, took his lance and broke it into pieces. He started to hit the vulnerable knight, who remained beaten on the floor. Don Quixote and the farmer got into the town at nightfall. "Then books!" cried out the housekeeper. "They are the reason why my lord is crazy." She started to burn them into a bonfire. Just some of them had not the same end. But as soon as Don Quixote could stand up, he went back to look for his books. "Where is my bookshelf?" he asked. "My dear uncle, during your absence, a magician got into the house, filled it with some smoke, and made all the books disappear." He understood that all was the work of a magician. He was really angry, but he accepted the offense like a good knight. Everything seemed normal after the burning of the books, but soon Don Quixote went to seek Sancho Panza, who was for him the perfect companion in his adventures. Don Quixote told him about the adventures of the itinerant knights and about the custom of giving some pieces of land to the squires after conquering them. So Sancho started to see himself like a rich man, administrator of a piece of land, and soon accepted the idea of becoming squire of Don Quixote. When the day came, both of them started away and rode till dawn. The knight and his squire arrived to a field full of windmills. "Do you see those big ones? I'm fighting against them." "Look, my lord, they are windmills." Suddenly, the wind began to blow, and the blades of the windmill started to spin. Don Quixote entrusted Dulcinea, and riding at full gallop, he ran into the first windmill. The lance touched one blade, which made the knight and horse went through the air. The squire ran to help him, saying, "But my lord, haven't I said they weren't giants, but windmills?" "Keep quiet, Sancho," answered Don Quixote. "Things from battles are exposed to constant changes." Sancho helped his lord to go up Rocinante and continue the journey. Two friars appeared in the way, but Don Quixote imagined they were magicians that had kidnapped some princess. "Weak people! Let the princess free, or be ready to die." All the explanations were not enough for the knight, who went towards one of them and pushed him into the floor, while the other ran away. When Sancho came closer to the friar in order to take his habit, two farmers hit him. As Don Quixote, he had to deal with a squire who was with the lady in the carriage that broke the armor of the nobleman at the shoulder height and made a cut in one ear. Don Quixote repelled the attack, but forgave him just if he visited Dulcinea del Toboso and told her what had happened. The nobleman remained injured, So he asked Sancho to get the balm of fiabras for him, a kind of potion with magical characteristics capable of bringing the dead back. Don Quixote had a drink of it, and later he fell asleep. Sancho also tried it, but he felt as if he was going to die. This happens, my dear friend, because you are an itinerant knight, since that liquor is able to cure just the ones who are knights, said the knight to Sancho. The following morning, he decided to take back the trek, searching for adventures, and as Don Quixote thought he had spent the night in a castle and not in an inn, the lord and the squire went out without paying. But a group of guests caught Sancho and took him into the inn's pen, and beat him up till they got tired and left him alone. Don Quixote and Sancho were walking through the prairie when the knight said, "Can you see that cloud of dust? Well, it's just a huge army." "Two armies must be there, my lord," said Sancho, "since on the other side another kind of cloud can be seen." As Sancho was almost sure that two armies were coming closer and not two flocks, they were willing to battle. The knight, whose lance was in the lance rest, spurred Rocinante and galloping was towards what he thought was an army. Soon he rolled on the floor, feeling the kicking of the sheep, thanks to whom he lost some of his teeth. They arrived at the bottom of a mountain, next to a stream surrounded by a meadow, and the knight of the sad figure, as he was called by Sancho, said to the squire, "Sancho, you must go to Toboso and give a letter to my Dulcinea that reads, 'Yours, till death, the knight of the sad figure.'" The squire rode Rocinante while Don Quixote stayed wearing a shirt, and making pirouettes through that meadow. When coming back, Sancho met in the inn Don Quixote's friends, who were looking for him. Alarmed by the news about the nobleman's madness, they planned to deceive him and make him go back to his house since he was enchanted. Don Quixote arrived to his village locked up, but after 3 days the knight and the squire came back to the track. First, they traveled to Toboso so as the knight received Dulcinea's blessing. Finally, Don Quixote and Sancho met some dukes who gave the squire the administration of a piece of land called Barataria. But what Sancho had wished didn't work out, since the dukes just wanted to mock at the squire, who spent all that time eating bread and having some water. One day, Sancho decided to leave that position and look for his lord so as to return to their adventures. Don Quixote saw a knight like him riding a horse. "I'm the knight of the white moon and I come to see the power of your arm. If I win, you'll go to your village. If you win, the glory of your deeds will be yours." "Dulcinea del Toboso is the most beautiful woman in the entire world, and I am the unhappiest knight on earth," said Don Quixote. Unarmed, sad, and defeated, he came back home. He died a couple of days later, after denying his condition of knight, saying, "I'm not Don Quixote of La Mancha any longer. I am Alfonso Quixano, the good one."